Alright, so today we're going to be talking about converting equations to slope-intercept form. Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You definitely have to remember that to be good at this and anything else involving linear equations, because slope-intercept form is pretty much the gold standard. If you know slope-intercept form, you can do almost anything with linear equations. Alright, so we're going to convert these equations to slope-intercept form. Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So the first one is y plus 2 equals 3x. Okay, so slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. I have a y. Here's my mx equals, but my plus b is on the wrong side. So I need to get this over here. Only way to do that is to do the opposite of this, which is subtract 2 from both sides. So that'll give me y equals 3x minus 2. So my slope equals 3. My y-intercept equals negative 2. 2 below 0. Okay, next. So y, well, there's my mx and there's my b. So I need to move this over by doing the opposite of this, which is plus 1/2 x plus 1/2 x to both sides. Simplifies to y equals 1/2 x plus 4, or if you like to keep things in the same order they were in, you could also have done y equals 4 plus 1/2 x. Either way, my slope is 1/2, 1 over 2, 1 divided by 2. My y-intercept is positive 4, 4 above 0. And the third kind you'll see is where x and y are on the same side and they both have coefficients. And by coefficient I mean a number in front. So here's my y and I have a number in front of that. Here's my b. Here's my mx. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of my mx, get it to the other side. I need to move this. Well, wait a second, there's no sign over here. Well, guess what? If we look at that 3, is it positive or negative? It's positive because there's no minus sign, there's no subtraction sign. There's nothing over here, so we automatically know it's positive. And if you need to write it in, then write it in. There's nothing wrong with that. So to move the 3x to the other side, we have to subtract. Whenever you move a term and a coefficient, like a coefficient and a variable, you're moving the whole thing to another side. You're either adding or subtracting, always. So we're subtracting the 3x. Subtracting the 3x. Remember, you got to do it to both sides. You got to keep it equal. There's an equal sign because you got to keep it equal, left and right. So we got 4y because the 3x's go away. They cancel. Equals 24 minus 3x. Now, I need y by itself, but it's not by itself. It has a coefficient. So earlier I said when you move a variable and the coefficient together to the other side, you're either adding or subtracting. Well, when you're splitting up a variable and a coefficient, you're either multiplying or dividing. In this case, they're already multiplying, so I'm going to have to divide by 4 to the left, and I'm going to have to do it to everything on the right. So my 4's cancel. I have 1y, which is the same thing as just y, equals 24 divided by 4 is 6, minus, and I just keep that as a fraction, 3/4 x, 3/4, 3 divided by 4x, or if you want, you can change it to a decimal. 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. Either way, my slope is negative 3/4. My y-intercept is 6 positive. So writing slope-intercept form with missing information, we've already done this in a previous video, but we're going to do it again because you need practice. So write the slope-intercept form. Well, I know that that is y equals mx plus b of a line with a slope of 1/3, so my m is 1/3, that passes through 6/4. So I write down the important information and I label everything that I can label. So my slope is, I know that's my m. Slope is always attached to x, and m is attached to x, so my slope is m, is 1/3. The 6, 4, well, that's a coordinate. That's a point on the line, and I know that a point has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. X comes first, so this is my x. This is my y. So I have an m, an x, and a y. If I go back to my equation that I know slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, I see an m, an x, and a y. I don't have a b, but guess what? If I plug in substitute numbers for y, m, and x, I can easily solve for b. So my y was 4. So y comes out, that turns into a 4. Substitute. M was a 1/3, so m comes out, that turns into a 1/3. X was a 6. X comes out, 6 goes in, and I'm multiplying. I use parentheses to show that I'm multiplying. Plus b. Okay, so you could look at this a couple of ways. Of course, we're going to have the 4 equals. We haven't done anything to that side, so it's still there. The plus b is still going to be there. We're going to simplify this part right here. So you could either think of it as a couple ways. 1/3 of 6, which is 2, or you could turn this into a fraction. And when we multiply fractions, we multiply top times top, which is 6. Bottom times bottom, which is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 4 equals 2 plus b. Remember that 2, is that positive or negative? There's no minus sign, there's no subtraction. It's positive. So we have to subtract to bring it over here. Minus 2. These cancel. 2 minus 2 is 0. Those go away. b equals 4 minus 2 is 2. So my b equals 2, but I'm not done yet because the question asked, write the slope-intercept form. Well, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. My m was 1/3. That was from the question. So that goes here. My b, I just found, that's a plus 2. So I'm done. So once I find my y-intercept, I plug the m and the b, the slope and the intercept, back into the original equation. So I get y equals 1/3 x plus 2. So slope is 1/3. Y-intercept is positive 2. Okay. So here I go again. I'm going to highlight, underline, whatever important information to know that I know what's going on. So write the slope-intercept form. So again, we need y equals mx plus b. Of a line that passes through 2, 1, and 1, negative 1, 5. So 2, negative 1, negative 1, 5. Let me clean up my numbers a little bit here. All right. So again, I have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So I need slope-intercept form. I have an x and a y. Now, in fact, I have 2 x's and 2 y's. I don't have a b. They don't tell me what the y-intercept is. And they also don't tell me what the slope is. So let me think. I need the slope or the intercept to make this work. I have an x and a y. I either need the slope or the y-intercept. They don't give me either one. But can I find the slope or the y-intercept by using these points? Well, I have 2 points, an x and a y. You know, I think that I remember doing something like this before. I think that we found the slope or the rate of change from 2 points. Well, let's see. So I think it was change in y divided by change in x. So my change in y from negative 1 to positive 5, that goes up by 6. So that's a positive 6. X to x, that's going down by 3. So negative 3. Well, positive 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. That's a slope, that's a rate of change. So I've used what they gave me to find a rate of change. So now I can substitute that in here, negative 2. But I have 2 x's and 2 y's. So I don't know which one to pick. I'm just going to pick one and see what happens. Alright, let's pick that one first. So my x is going to turn into a positive 2. My y is going to turn into a negative 1. So negative 1 equals negative 4 plus b. I need to solve for b. Well, that's nice. I know it's minus because there's a minus there. So I have to move this over here by doing the opposite of that, which is plus. So b equals 3. Well, what happens if I use my other point? Because what if I accidentally did something wrong? Well, let's see. So I'm going to use this point now. So instead of y equals mx plus b, my y is going to turn into 5. My m is still negative 2. My x is going to be negative 1. So m is negative 2. X is going to be negative 1 plus b. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 1 is 2 plus b equals 5. Subtract to bring it over here. These cancel. These go away. B equals 3. Hey, B is the same thing no matter what point I used. How about that? So I must have done something right. If I tried it 2 different ways and got the same thing, I'm thinking that there's probably some truth to what I did. So remember the question asked, write the slope-intercept form. So I need y equals, my slope was negative 2. It's always good to kind of box these up so you know to come back and look for it. Negative 2x, and then my y-intercept was here and here, positive 3, and I'm done. So there's the slope-intercept form of a line that passes through 2, negative 1, and negative 1, 5.